When I start working on a new album, I never know what project it will be. You know, if I determine this beforehand, I feel I really limit myself. So once I start, it could turn into anything. You know, Star One, solo album, Guild Machine. Basically, the only thing that stays the same is that every album I make is a reaction to the previous album. So if Theory of Everything was my prog album, I think this one could be considered my rock album. I have to say though, at first it looked like this album could just turn into a Star One because the material was pretty heavy, lots of guitars and stuff. But then all these little folky, electronic and acoustic parts started creeping in. So then I knew this is going to be an Ayreon, for sure. Usually I first finish the music and the story and then I search for the artwork. But this time I wanted the artwork to inspire me to come up with a story. So I roamed the net for weeks researching many different artists. I knew from the beginning that I wanted to do a sci-fi story again because the music I already had was pushing me in this direction. And then I came across Jan Suetre's work and it immediately inspired me. You know, there was this image with this girl in this water tank and I was like, hey, what if she's a forever, you know? I never showed the forever. What do the forever look like? And what if the forevers were human ones? And what if humanity has lived before? So all these ideas came up. I also really love all the little details in Jan's work. I guess you can also find that in my music, you know, all the layers and all the things you can discover. And I found out he's even more of a perfectionist than me. You know, merde, Jan, sometimes you drove me crazy, man. But, you know, complètement fou. But I have to say, you know, you did a great job, Jan. So, très bien, mon ami. À la prochaine fois. Now, I know, I said, you know, the whole Planet Y Forever story, you know, it was finished, but I shouldn't say these things because, as always, I change my mind. And yeah, so this became a prequel to the whole 01 album, where it all started. This is where it all started, you know, the source. I have a wish list of about like 200 singers and most of them are out of the question, some because they simply not alive anymore. And some, you know, like the big names like Paul McCartney, David Gilmour, Robert Plant, I simply can't reach them. So when I'm almost ready with the music, I start selecting the singers. And I usually end up with 30, 40 singers. I try to approach them all, which is not always easy. People often think, you know, he knows them all, but it's harder than you think. So, you know, obviously they all have their own bands, they all have their own projects, and they're a priority for them, of course, or they're simply too busy. But this time I have an amazing dream cast of singers and instrumentalists. I found out that now I'm getting more known and luckily it becomes easier for me to arrange singers. And I'm in the luxury position where even singers are starting to approach me now. You know, that's a big honor, of course. But yeah, this time it was really a luxury problem. I had so many good singers to choose from.
Hey, where's your Borat suit?
You can't see it. It's under here, it's on here. Hi, how are you? Fine. Finally I'm here. Yes, yes. And I got my microphone in here. That's the most important thing. Oh yeah, I have to bring my own microphone.
I always loved Michael's singing in Circus Maximus and we've been in contact for years on Facebook and this time I had the perfect role for him as the diplomat.
I didn't even think about it. It's like, of course. Oh no, I gotta think about it. You know, I got this Battlefield 1 coming out. I can't come over because I gotta play that game. That didn't happen. I came right away.
He sings all these really positive and melodic parts on the album, which fit his voice and his character perfectly.
This is not over. I am sure we'll find a way out of this desperate situation.
I think he even has one of the biggest roles on the album. And I'm also so glad he came over, you know. He's such an inspiring character. You should hear his laugh.
You want to lay some harmonies on that? You want to lay some harmonies? Oh yeah, I like that.
Hey everybody! My name is Nils and I'm the lead singer of Pagan's Mind.
I've been in contact with Niels for years, and I guess we both always knew that, you know, one fine day we will be working together.
I was asked by Ayreon Lucassen to sing on his new record, and my gosh, I was overwhelmed with this opportunity.
He has such a distinctive, powerful voice, you know, as you've heard in his great band, Pagan's Mind.
Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to come down to the Netherlands and record my parts, so I did everything here in my home studio.
And he was just perfect for the kind of theatrical part of The Prophet. So, again, great job, mate. I had this one part where I just kept coming back to a total rip-off of the melody of a Rainbow song, Gates of Babylon, you know, the sleep with the devil for... And I kept coming, you know, that same melody over and over again. So I mailed Mike and I said, you know, do you have any ideas for this part? I sent it to him and he sent me back this totally amazing layered Queenish part.
Run, 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 apocalypse! Okay, I think that's that section done.
And after I heard that, I was totally greedy. I was too greedy. I asked him, hey man, I want this all over the album. Can you do it? He said, yeah, sure, just send it to me. And man, he did such an amazing job. So much work and so detailed and so creative.
Get out now! Evacuate. I've already done evacuates. In another song. Apocalypse. Apocalypse! Yeah, that's kind of fun. Apocalypse! That'll work.
I gave him a totally free hand. I could never have come up with all these brilliant melodies myself, you know, no way. And believe it or not, Mike is an even bigger perfectionist than I am. So good luck with that, mate.
No, it's still bad. Incorrect. That's awful. Truly the most awful note that I've ever sung in my entire life. Let's sing something in tune for a change.
I really think this guy is an absolute genius, and it's about the time that the rest of the world discovers this.
Let's hear it as a whole, shall we?
I first heard Tommy on his solo album under the name of Thomas Giles, and I absolutely love his voice and I love his compositions. So I contacted him on, I think it was Twitter.
Ayreon contacted me originally through Twitter, and then from there I sent him my email, and the rest is history.
And to my surprise, he knew who I was, you know, you never know. And he was interested straight away. Unfortunately, he couldn't come over, so he recorded everything on his end in the US.
He let me record on my own with Jamie King, the guy that, you know, Between the Bare Muse worked with for years. And, you know, the second I got in the vocal booth, I kind of changed little things here and there. If I heard, you know, extra voices or harmonies or anything, I recorded it all, because I wanted to, instead of giving him too little, I wanted to give him too much, and he could kind of go from, you know, take all that and break it down to what he thinks works for his record.
And I must say, he totally blew me away with his contributions. He really made it his own, you know, so many layers and little harmonies and stuff, so I was really impressed.
Even though it was things he wrote, I still felt like I made it more of my own, which was something I really enjoyed.
I first worked with Flora when she was just 18 or something like that. She just started out, but I immediately recognized her talent and her potential. The first time I heard her voice, it was like, whoa, you know.
We first started talking about the first tour we did together, the Star One tour back in 2002. But before that, I recorded my first Ayreon album. Must have been at the age of 18, 19.
Yeah, it was in the track House on Mars on the Dream Sequencer album.
I had never had a singing lesson in my life, no studio experience, only on local demo level.
And since then I've worked with her loads of times, like on both Star One albums and on Ayreon 0101, 1001. Yes, right in one go. Yeah, I think somehow her voice just fits perfectly with my music. And luckily I think that she thinks that my music is not all that shabby, so.
It's fantastic to be asked now again, which is a no-brainer. By now, of course, and back then it was, really, me? Oh man! And now it's like, really, me? Great, because there's so many great singers out there, and to be part of it, as I have been so often, it's a huge honor.
As you may have known, I've worked with Simone on my 01 album on the song Web of Lies. But of course that was way too short. So I'm glad I could really give her a big part this time as the counselor.
Great fun, as it was the first time. Normally when I work with new band or artists, I'm always a little bit excited, slightly nervous to see if there's a chemistry, and Ayreon has good chemistry.
And it's been really great recording with her again, you know, because she's so good. She's really fast.
Things are going really smooth, really fast, and even small ideas that I tell him, he says, okay, let's try it, and might be some of my little brain concoctions on the city.
We also came up with a lot of spontaneous stuff, and you know, we had a lot of fun.
Ja, en jij hebt ook super goed voorbereid. Dus,
I did my homework.
yeah, absolutely.
In between doing the dishes and everything at home.
I love her really dry sense of humor. It's funny. So yeah, beautiful lady, beautiful voice.
Bam!
It's great having both Floor and Simone on this album because their voices and style is so different. So yeah, Floor of course did the more full-on belting.
We're getting closer to the day the world breaks down. So I've been belting my lungs out in there, which I really love doing. So.
And Simone sang the more darker atmospheric stuff. And they also both did some very cool operatic voices together. So yeah, that sounded really cool.
We have still some vocals ahead of us, some really high operatic vocals, so it's going to be fun doing that.
In our hearts it will never die.
As always, I play most of the instruments myself. Not because I'm the best, you know, far from that. But simply because I'm a total egomaniac control freak. No, seriously. Indeed, I'm not the best player, but I do know how to get a good sound, which is the main reason why I play everything myself. Because, you know, the sound of each instrument is the basis of the whole mix. You know, whether it's the guitar sound or the bass sound or the keyboards, Hammond, strings, synthesizers. I guess I spend more time trying to get the perfect sound than anything else. And of course the sound is mostly dependent on the parts that you play. So yeah, it's all just me. Sorry folks, the egomaniac, control freak. There you go, gotta deal with me. This album is definitely a lot heavier than my previous Ayreon albums, I think you'll agree. And it has more guitars, and also it has way more drums and way more complicated drum patterns. Even though it was a lot to do Ed managed to record the whole double album totally perfect in just 2 days. I made him bleed though, literally.
Oh yeah.
What happened?
Blister.
As always, he just plays exactly what I have in mind, and then some.
Die was heel gaaf hoor. Kunnen we er nader in?
What I like most about him is that he listens to the singers and he listens to the melodies, he listens to the song, and this way he perfectly understands what the song needs. Like in this song, The Day That the World Breaks Down, there's this groovy bluesy part, you know, this amazing flight kind of part. And he really gives that part the relaxed, laid-back feel that it needed. As everyone knows, Ed is a master of the extreme double bass power stuff, like you hear on the song Planet Y is Alive. So yeah, all in all, for me, he's just the perfect Ayreon drummer.
Heel erg gaaf. Komt u maar.
I'm sweating.
Maaike is such a lovely lady and she's so easy and so great to work with. And we always have a lot of fun together. I love that cello.
Schatje. Goed gedaan.
Ben is without a doubt the best violist I've ever worked with. He's just a total virtuoso and he can play anything. And the great thing is that he also offers a lot of input because he masters so many different styles. You know, I just give him this one idea and he said, you want it like this, you want it like that. So there's many options of how to play a certain part. I really needed a real grand piano and some cool electric piano parts. And unfortunately, the only person who was available was Joost. So yeah, I just had to make do with Joost. Seriously though, as always, Joost delivered. You know, he's such an amazing musician and he's also a great person. Besides the fact that he's a total lul, of course. I'm a great fan of the flute. And I found the perfect flutist in my good friend, Jeroen. Because he's so versatile and he can play so many different wind instruments. We work together so often now, we understand each other just instinctively. And actually with each new album, I always say, sorry Jeroen, there's not much flute this time, you know, just a couple of parts for you, but come anyway. And then he comes and he brings all his instruments, you know, these 20 flutes and pipes and stuff. And all these spontaneous things happen and we end up with all kinds of flute all over the album. Well, basically I always prefer to record singers in my own studio, or at least to be present during the recording. Because I like to spontaneously come up with unexpected weird harmonies.
He's like, no, try to sing this. Like, that? How can that fit with that pure melodic line that I just sang?
So it's great to work on this together with the singer, you know, grab a guitar and let's try this, let's try that.
Dat is super lastig. Het zijn alle tonen die je maar kan verzinnen.
I can also explain what's happening in the story and what the motivation is of the character they are portraying. Because, you know, the story is often quite complicated, so it's good to explain it to them in person.
I have a feeling I'm human leaving the planet and then I have a loved one that I have to leave behind. So that's already kind of enough for me to work on. He just gives me little clues and then if he likes it, that's the most important.
You have a character in the story. So, he's very passionate about that. Like, say that this is the end of the world, just sing it like, this is the end of the world. You know, can't sing it like that. Just, this is the end of the world. You know, something like that.
And if they do it on their own, then they just hear the little parts that I send them, and it's really hard and probably extremely boring for them, you know, to explain it all in writing and read it.
My character, I honestly didn't know about it till after I recorded. I obviously had the lyrics, but I didn't know exactly what my character was, and I found out that I'm the chemist and that I designed a synthetic drug that made you breathe underwater on planet Y and basically made you immortal. And I think that's very fitting because living forever sounds amazing to me. And I'm very scared of death. So he somehow chose the character that spoke to me perfectly.
Sometimes singers are maybe a little nervous when we start recording, but the way I work, that's usually gone after a few minutes. Because, you know, I ask singers because I love what they do. So I'm always very excited to hear their voice singing my material.
Ayreon really puts me at ease. He's very calm and he makes a joke and he's very honest about his opinion. And it gives me energy.
It's positive energy I'm getting fed, like this sounds great, or oh cool, or yeah I really liked this or that.
And hey, you know, they're all way better singers than I am. So I give them little compliments all the time. And sometimes I even start crying, but don't tell anyone. I also like to work really fast.
Really fast. Yes. Like, let's do a song, yeah, done. Let's do the next, cool, done. Really smooth.
So as soon as I know I have what I want to move to the next part. Because this way, you know, you stay in the groove and things stay fresh. This may sound arrogant, but by now I know exactly what I want and I know how to achieve it.
And he hears things when I sang a line or whatever. Then I was like, oh, not that happy. Oh, I don't care. Because you had that little touch there, that's what I need.
Because, you know, sometimes singers need guidance. Sometimes singers, you just have to let them go. So somehow I feel that instinctively now, but in the beginning I really had to learn that, being the amazing control freak that I am. So, you know, I always wanted it my way. But working with all these amazing talents, it showed me that you really have to give them freedom to get the best results, you know. And in the end, it's all about the result.
It's so cool for me to work with him because he always brings out the best in me. And I know he's done that with a lot of singers. And that's a quality that now, how many years has it been? 15, 16 years later, it's still, we walk into the room and a few minutes later we're up and running. And that's great. It's very special.
Obviously, I like to use their strength as a singer, like power or melody or more acting.
He understands what a voice can do. So he writes parts that fit to voices.
But I also really like to show a side of the singer that people haven't heard before.
I mean, there's definitely elements of, you know, the melodic side of things I've done in the past, but he definitely got out new things for me that I normally wouldn't write, and which is good. You know, that's I think what music's all about, is evolving and learning new things about what you do.
I absolutely love it when people say, hey, this singer sounds quite different on your stuff than in his own band, you know, because come to think of it, I hope they meant that as a compliment.
The other vocalists that I've heard so far, I've heard them in their bands. I was like, okay, this is cool, great singers. But when he uses the vocals from them, he gets them to sing another way still. And I just love that.
If Ayreon gets a hint of what you could do, he'll bring out the best.
Like he told me now when I came down, I was like, oh, how many singers have been here now the past month or whatever? Oh, it's not that many. People tend to do the vocals at home now.
This time, a lot of the singers just didn't have the time to come to my studio. But to my surprise, it actually worked out really well this time. Because, you know, the advantage of working like this is they can really take the time for it. They can choose their own time to sing it.
I like to kind of get in the booth and just feel it out and kind of get in the moment. And that's what I did with this. You know, I took each section by section and just kind of felt it out and tried to get into the role and, you know, get into the voices as much as I could.
I always send them the tracks with guide vocals, but I especially tell them, do not copy the guide singer. Don't even listen to it too often, because the guides should just give them a general idea of the melodies. I definitely want them to add their own special touch to it, you know, because that's why I asked him in the first place.
We were very much on the same page. I feel like what he sent me spoke to me instantly. So yeah, it was a good process.
Somehow everything just fell into place with this album. It was all very natural. I think I only had that a few times before. I had it with Electric Castle, I had it with The Human Equation. And, you know, the music, the story, the artwork, and most of all, the amazing guest musicians. So yeah, I hope you agree, and I hope you enjoy this album.
Oh, this is going to be a killer album. It's going to be so good. It's and I'm so happy to be part of it. But listen to all the parts that I've been singing. It's just a part here, part there. And when I hear other singers sing their parts, hey, that sounds like my part. So I know there's some link in between here, you know. So that's what I'm looking forward to hear when the album comes out.
It's a great honor, and I'm really proud to be part of this.
You know, honestly, it's just being part of the project and being part of this legacy that he's been doing forever, and all the people that have been a part of it, Ayreon Records, and you know, I'm very humbled and flattered to be part of this music, and you know, I'll always remember that.
And it will be very interesting to see everything come together later with other singers and the whole story, the whole picture. That's something to look forward to.
Hello, my name is Michael Eriksson and I'm the singer from Circus Maximus. And I play the role of the porn star. No, I'm not the porn star in this project. What am I?
I don't even know what you are.
What was I again? I'm the I'm the...
What are you?
Oh, I don't remember. We have to ask him. Wait. I can go ask him. I have to ask him.
Yeah, you're not what? Yeah, go ahead, go ask.
I'm not the doctor. But what is the name of the character again? I'm the
Diplomat.
diplomat. I'm the diplomat. Yeah.
The porn stuff.
I said that.
Okay. Let
Wait.
me just make sure we're in focus.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, let's do it. Okay. Hello, my name is Michael Eriksson and I'm the singer of Circus Maximus. And I'm so happy to be a part of the new album with Ayreon. And my role on this album is I'm the diplomatic. The diplomat. Diplomaticos. Diplomatos. I'm the diplomat. What is it? I am the diplomat. That's what I mean. Diplomat. Yeah. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Eriksson, and I'm the singer from Circus Maximus from Norway. I play the role as the diplomat on the new Ayreon album. Go check it out. Yeah.